Campbell and I are launching and hosting an 8-day water fast off the back of our fast to give you guys a chance to fast in a way that's supportive and you're not doing it by yourself. So it's happening in October. The link is underneath here. Just click through. It's there's no cost. It's by donation. Just pay whatever you feel it's worth. Campbell and I are committing to turning up in the morning and in the evening for 8 days, where we will have a Zoom podcast with anyone who wants to come on. And if you've got any fears or stresses or worries or something weird's happening or you're losing your motivation or whatever it is, we'll be there as a community to be like, we can do this, team. Day one is done. Everyone go to sleep quickly and it'll be day two,
Exactly. I'm
just
definitely doing
sleep,
that, man. Go
sleep
to
your
sleep
whole way.
early.
you,
Yeah, man.
go to bed if you're feeling like you're giving up and go to bed and sleep and it'll be day three, but we'll be there to hold your hand and to get you through it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and thanks to everyone who's already gone and signed up.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few there. We haven't even really promoted it, so that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely it would be a hard go, I think, doing it by yourself, especially if you're in the burbs or something like that, where you've got
Yep.
other people in your space. So,
Yep.
if you want to do it, then this will be a big help. Every morning, every evening, get motivation, get to talk to other people. You can have a bitch about how it sucks. But just that support will help immensely, I think, to get people through. And what are we doing?
100%.
8 days that we're going to
8
go
days.
for? Yeah.
Oh, very casual. Good morning to Tartaria, Australia, and Autodidactic. Hey, buddy.
How you going? Yeah, man. It's like 7 a.m. here, early morning recordings. Uh,
Yep.
yes. So we've got cats behind us, but we're not sure what we're going to talk about. We'll just talk
No.
about can you even say his name? Mr. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy,
Yeah.
Idler Man, Sean
Yeah.
Combs.
I know there's this I haven't been tuned into that recently, but we moved last week and my mind's a bit scattered. So I was just like looking at what's been posted around the last couple of weeks. And yeah, I was like an overwhelming amount on the arrests of Diddy and all the celebrities. And actually, it was weird, Campbell, because I saw this whole like chain of posts that were really similar to when COVID started, and all the celebrities were doing those cryptic like memes and images and statements to each other. Ellen DeGeneres, she had that thing from Wilson. She had the Wilson shirt on
Yeah, that's
from,
right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
then there was these cryptic, like they were talking to each other about, arrest, but then nothing fucking happened. And they're all just, nothing happened. I mean, Ellen lost the show, Oprah lost the show, but nothing significant
No,
happened.
yeah, none of them went to jail, and we're still waiting for the island list. Got to be careful what we say, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, where's that? What happened to that? What happened to all of that? Nothing's
Mm,
happened to any of that um, that's become like public knowledge, I guess.
mm.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think now? Is this something happening, or is this sort of the same sort of situation? And why is it happening? And what does it all mean?
I think, yeah, man, I think this is all part of what we're going through, whatever you want to call it, the Great Awakening. Um, my point of view is all this stuff's always been going on, right? We're just being shown it. And so I think obviously the system, right, who puts these people up there, that's also the same system that is the law system, right? So that's why we haven't been seeing anyone go to jail, because it's the same group of people, right?
The law system and the Lord system.
The
It's all the
Lord,
same.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
all that, yeah, yeah. Um, but I think we're dealing with, I don't think there's just bad out there, right? I think there's good out there too, and clearly we're moving forward is what it looks like. They can resist as much as they want, but there's still stuff coming out, and there's bigger and bigger names being tied to all this. I saw a video and they were tying um, Obama. I'm worried about the words
Yeah.
I'm saying here, right? But Obama, and obviously we know all the rumors about him being gay, right? And this is what's coming out about old Diddy and all his mates is that they're all gay, right? But they're putting up these big fronts as being these big, masculine men. It's very strange. But I mean, even just the hip hop, when you look into hip hop, the whole thing of having their, they wear their jeans halfway down their legs, that comes
Yeah, their
from
ass is
jail.
showing.
That's
Yep.
straight from jail saying, I'm up for it, basically.
Yep.
And then the jail culture with all the tats and all this kind of stuff. It's really so like hip hop has really, really affected obviously more the black community in America, but it's very, very low morals, right? I mean, look at the
Yep.
girls now in rap who are singing. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, holy crap, man, it's
Yep.
just like I'm
Yep.
I'm a gangbang girl, right? I mean, that's pretty much it, and that's what they're influencing the younger generation with. And now, I mean, it didn't take much to work out, right? This is actually what these people are doing in the background, right?
Yeah. So like, I mean, it's an interesting one, Cam, because when we talk about all this stuff here on this channel, we're essentially looking at the idea that like everything that operates on the surface of this earth is in some sort of parasitic pyramid structure, and that, that we are the most slave but the most free, and everything above us is compromised morally, financially, virtually every other way. Um, but then, like, you've got all this commotion now about arresting these celebrities and exposing them. So what's doing that? What energy, what
Exactly.
group
Yeah.
is that coming? Because it's like, would the system arrest itself? Would the parasitic structure like collapse onto itself? It seems weird. Now we know how it all sort of works, that the law or the police or the politicians would be the ones arresting and exposing this. Like, what, there has to be another, to expose the celebrities and arrest them. It must be misdirection and cover for something bigger. It feels like they're just throwing their pawns out front. Like, it doesn't feel like I don't know, I'm just saying, it doesn't feel like some good energies coming in there and making all these changes, or is it just like casting out the pawns to get away with something even worse? You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and they do that all the time, right? They throw people under the bus to save themselves. But I think, I mean, just looking at it over like the 4 year period of what's been going on, like when I look at it, it seems that they've got all these plans and all these things they're pushing out, but none of it seems to be working. Like everything seems to be backfiring on them since 2020, right? When they brought in all the stuff. There was such a massive kickback, and that's just grown and grown and grown, right? So I think, I mean, I mean, ultimately, I guess I think we're reaching the top of the sine wave, right? We're hitting a shift where the frequency is changing, and that's the main reason why all this stuff is being exposed. Is we're seeing it. Like I said before, it's always been there, but now it's like it's just because our frequency is raising, they're becoming more exposed. You
Well,
know,
I mean, that makes sense. Like,
that's the
if,
apocalypse, right?
yeah.
Lifting the veil, or
So
yeah.
I mean, that's a good way to look at it. So it's not so much that there's like people behind this, like as in like some, white caped saviors like working in the scenes and doing all these spectacular moves to bring down the system. I don't think that's true. I think like there's no Jedi Knights there like having a secret battle with the fucking Darth Vader's army. But what I think may be happening, on the other hand, is that because our consciousness has become aware of it and more aware of it, and people post more and more shit online about it, and it just becomes ingrained in cultural consciousness. And even the people who don't believe in any of it, like my 13-year-old, don't believe in any of it, then it's still around them. They can't help it. There's still enough people in their lives that are mentioning it, that consciousness is the thing behind the collapsing
Mm.
process. I don't believe there's some good white people, like white caped heroes, making calls. I think it's the consciousness that's shifting the reality. And like, let's not forget that we have been under a program that like arresting a celebrity is like a fucking biggest fucking deal in the world. Like, when actual fact, those celebrities are probably considered like scum by their lords. Like they're considered enslaved servants. They're not considered these glamorous, highly functioning, masterful talents. They're not like that. They're literal. They're pawns that will be used, abused, and discarded by their overseers at any second. It's not like it's the
Of
biggest fucking
course.
deal that a celebrity gets arrested. Like that's an illusion that we've
Mm.
got going on. Oh my God, it's a celebrity, it's P. Diddy, it's Bieber. Like what? Like these aren't even talented, masterful human beings. They're
They're pawns, right? They're actors. They're put up there to do a job. And
immoral,
mm,
broken, moral coded.
oh, totally. And that's why things like what's coming out about Bieber happens, right? Because they can't be, lifted to that sort of level of fame or whatever without being completely controlled and without the controllers, their masters knowing how they're going to act and react and all this kind of stuff. And it's also got a lot
Exactly.
to do with MK Ultra, right? And mind control when they put them through all these rituals, if you want to call it that. But I mean, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that the evil, the bad in this world is pretty organized, right? But that doesn't mean that
High functioning.
there's yeah, exactly, there's so
It's
much
high functioning
infighting and
evil.
all this kind of stuff within them that they're
Yep.
all trying to take each other down all the time anyway.
Yep.
And I think that's just
Yep.
going to grow and grow. And yeah, I mean, I've seen no evidence of any white hat movement or of any, sort of underground good sort of physical group of people doing anything. I mean, that may be happening, I don't know, but I think it's more the energy is changing. I think it's us.
I agree.
It's us, we the people, that are going to
I
ultimately be
agree.
the white hats, if you want to put it that way.
Because you can't, if our equation that consciousness is created by if energy and consciousness creates a state of reality, if that's our fundamental belief of how all of this exists, then everyone's consciousness right now is shifting and changing reality.
Yes,
And yeah, I
believe
mean, so
yes,
we have to go with that theory, and that there's not any
100%.
white, and like even the notion of the white hats or the white caped heroes, that's part of the programming. That's the programming that there's always, this like savior
Yeah,
energetic there
yeah.
to like working behind things. Well, when in actual fact, it's our consciousness that's like morphing and shifting and changing the
Mm,
reality. I mean, I, for one, will be super, glad that this expose and arrested process of our God celebrities is done, because like I get sick and tired of listening to our young one like fucking idolize these stupid, immoral, disgusting, corrupted, no longer whole human beings, probably invaded, parasitic,
mm.
like enslaved, whatever. And I hate watching the idolization that goes on. And I just think, wow, I can't believe that still goes on. But it does, of course it does. Like they're really idolize these celebrities as if it's
Mm.
something to strive for.
Yeah, man. I mean, Taylor's been mentioned. If there's stuff coming out about Taylor too, man, she's gonna fall. That they're all gonna fall, man. Like that's what I see. Like that's what it's leading to. But like you said, it's a collective consciousness, right? That's how we create reality. It's the thoughts that most people are thinking most of the time creates the reality. And so before 2020, most people weren't thinking outside their job or just their routine, and so nothing much changed. But
Yeah,
as soon
yeah,
as
yeah.
2020 came in and people started asking questions, the whole conspiracy theory just niche just went off, right? And everyone
Yep,
started waking up, and that's a direct result, I believe, of people asking questions in their minds. What's really going
yep,
on? And so then we start to create that as a new world, right?
yep.
It's like when we were talking about how do we create this new world, and you were saying we've got to dream it, right? We've got to
Mm.
have a new dream, and that's exactly what we're doing,
The biggest
right?
dream wins.
Yeah, yeah, the biggest dream wins, man. So that's, after all the stuff came out, then people started saying, well, these people have got to be exposed. They've got to go to jail. They've got to pay, and that's what's happening. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I see is happening is I know it still sounds very new agey in that, but I think consciousness is rising and we're going somewhere better. And it's interesting because back in 2020, with all the stuff and all the Trump stuff and that coming out, like the overlying message was sit down and don't do anything. We've got it. The white hats will
Yeah.
save you, which is the
Stay at
same
home.
message as Jesus will save you, or the whole concept that something outside of you is
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to come
yeah,
and
yeah,
save
yeah,
you, when what we need to do is
yeah,
understand we're the ones. What's that saying? We're the ones we've been waiting for.
yeah.
It's us.
I mean, it's cool because it's not like humanity has an organized dream. See, this is the thing with the pyramid structures that we've been living in. It's very organized. Like their whole process and their whole step by step by step and share this information, don't share this, rebuild this, don't rebuild this, recreate this, educate. It's so organized. Like organized in a way that only an AI would achieve. Like to me, if you look at a pyramid structure, that's Chat GP3. Like it's organized in a way that Chat would write an essay, for example. It's just linear and structural like that. Like they have an organized dream
Mm,
and it all like solidifies under potentially underground, like, like it solidifies at a very distinctive, very set point. Not that we don't know what that is, of course. But their dreaming is very organized and completely inorganic, completely inorganic. That's why as
totally.
soon as you like step up from under the pyramid and join the next level, your world becomes inorganic. It becomes like controlled, synthetic. You are forced to integrate with other things like other biologies, other synthetics, other everything. And whereas us humans, we're organic and messy. So we had a little moment of internet mishap there. I think I was just going on a little like rant about the fact that we are not organized dreamers. That this
Yes.
whole pyramid structure is a very organized dream. It's completely inorganic. It is essentially what would occur if ChatGPT organized our society. It's like linear and there's no organic dreaming. There is an end point. There's a singular point, It's like looking at Lord of the Rings with fucking Sauron. There's a clear like point of dream there, what the plan is.
Mm,
Whereas and you can see it all the way through the pyramid structure. Like it all has the same end goal.
mm,
But humanity, we're messy. We're messy organic creators. It's not like we've got Mel Gibson from Braveheart fucking woo, go the underdogs under the pyramid and all the bagpipes are playing and we've got our faces painted in white in blue stripes. Like nothing like that. It's going to happen to humanity. Like some organic lead is going to rise and provide the way, which is where the whole white hat saga, that whole thing just feels so inorganic to me. Like it felt really like the fact that it's even done through this Q drop, through the internet. It all felt, and it was all like future predictive. Like they were bringing up drops. So there was basically it's like watching The Simpsons play out, but online. That's how
yeah.
Q drops felt to me. So again, inorganic. But humanity still without, see, this is the pure potential that all this shit's always been hiding from us, which is we don't actually have to do much about it apart from put our attention on something other than what they're. So, like, the last 4 years, exposing everything that's been exposed and just constantly looking at stuff and talking about stuff and, all the memes and all the shit on socials and all the stuff and the videos and all that stuff has no order to it, but it's all like leading towards the same thing. So that organic expose, um, our consciousness has been on it, hasn't it? Like we've all been like fucking yeah, rooting for the destruction of the celebrities and politicians.
Mm,
We've all been rooting for. Our conscience has been on it with no plan whatsoever. Just that that's
mm.
where we want to go.
Yeah, yeah, because we're creating, yeah, that's like the closed circuit, the L, they start with a goal in mind, right? And so that's why it's so structured. Everything's headed towards that goal and structured.
Yeah.
And it's structured it as they have been controlling the group think, right? Like with all their media and songs and education systems, it's all to structure
Yep.
our thoughts, right? And to
Yep.
close off the imagination.
I
That's
know.
why we say, there's no real
How
musicians
clever.
anymore or artists or anything, right?
So
But
clever.
it is, but our, and it's left brain, right? It's very structured left brain, which is very, what do they call it? Like 0 1 coding,
Yep.
right? Binary. But our power's in the right side, the creative side, and there is no end when you're creating, right? It's not like you're going towards a certain. I mean, sure, we all want a
Yeah.
better world, and we say
There's
new
no
world in
end.
that, but it's not this
Yep.
specific, designated place. We're just all,
I fucking
because
agree.
creation doesn't work like that.
Yep.
Creation
I
is just
totally
totally
agree.
expansive. It just keeps
Yep.
expanding. So
It's full
yeah,
potential in every minute. It's full potential. And
yeah,
that's why religion has to be part of this parasitic pyramid structure. Because with religions, you've got an end point. Like the
yes.
dreaming ends, most definitely,
That's
bang, the dreaming ends.
Yeah,
Yep.
man, that's a good point, especially with Christianity, right? One life, and
Yep.
then you go to heaven. That's it, bang,
Mm-hmm.
bang.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my biggest problems is, well, what happens after that for eternity?
Yep.
Like, you just sit at the right hand of God or something. I mean, it sounds a bit boring, right?
And then of course, like you don't even have to think about anything because it's already done. It's written for you. Here's the course. Here's the end goal to pass.
Yeah,
And that's it. The end. The
literally,
end.
here's your list, right? Here's your
Yeah.
10 commandments.
Yep. And that's one of my biggest gripes with religion. It stops the dreaming. And
Yeah.
and that's across the whole board because as a Buddhist, I would 100,000% Buddhism stops the dreaming. Every single belief structure stops the dreaming. Even us with, like going down rabbit holes and looking at, I mean, we've all been through it over the last, I mean, most of us the last 20 years, but let's just take the last 5 years, where like we over and over again have been caught up in a dead end dream, like in a inorganic dream creation where there's that full potential in all directions at all time. It has a cutoff point, and
Mm.
that's where you freaking know. And that's why I think the internet, this inorganic space, which has in an inorganic way created and generated pure potential in all directions.
It
Like
has. Yeah,
it
man.
absolutely has, which I believe is
Completely.
space. I
Yeah.
think the internet is space. That's what space is.
It's totally like the Akashic records, right?
Yep.
Like it's just a physical point that we can access it. But I mean, this is the thing. All technology, when you look at computers, right, that they're like our brains. You have like the random access memory, which is your consciousness. You have the hard
Yeah.
drive, which is your subconscious. You have all this stuff stored in there that you don't know is in there until you search for it. Like the whole setup of how it's set up, and then going onto the internet is like the next step, right? That's like the interconnectedness. So this is all this stuff we hear about of like telekinesis and telepathy, and now we're connected, right? So it's, yes, it looks bad, but I still maintain that all of this is for us, right? It's to open our eyes. So, and people are like, well, why? I mean, what would life be if there was no challenges, if there was no bad side? What would we do? I mean, sure, you could have adventures, it'd be fun, but after a while you get bored, right? And then I think it needs to reset. And you can't be the hero of your story if there's no villain, right? If there's no dragon to slay. I kind of think that's what's going on here, and all this stuff. Although,
Well,
and the next thing is, if we look at it as bad, we create that, right? It becomes worse for us. So in the end, we, I think we always need to start from we're the creators. And it's like we were just saying, where our focus goes is what we create. We're creating the future we walk into. And so this is why they're always trying to pull us back to, oh my God, there's going to be another WAR. Oh my God, look over here, look at this, look at what and get us focusing on the bad stuff because that's the structure they want. That's what they want us to think.
I mean, look, I mean, yes, I agree. I think that's just like I just think that there's so many levels to it and layers, like you could do your greatest ability at focusing on everything you want or love or all those things, But at the same time, you're still dealing with, like, say, for example, trauma or personality wobbles or other people. There's so many layers to this. I mean, I for one think this whole where we currently stand on this reality is pretty fucking exhausting, because like we have the contextual knowledge. Like what you just said to me was perfect contextual knowledge. Like we've been taught that. And we can apply that to a certain degree, but it's not like the implication of that is, suddenly dramatically changes your life in a way that is beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know,
I
Campbell.
mean,
I just think that, I don't know. It doesn't excite me to hear those words anymore because I've just heard them to fucking death, and here we still are,
well, I mean,
you
this
know?
is we need to move into doing, right, rather than
But even
talking
that,
about it.
we do it. You and I do shit all the time.
Mm, yeah, we do, and I mean, this is the other thing is, there's two worlds we live in, right? Like we've got our own little world, and we can control the thoughts in that, and control, a lot of what happens to us. But then we have the group think, right? The whole everyone's thoughts combined, and that creates the outer world. So that's why everything hasn't changed, right? Because most people are still projecting this world, right, of structure and of leaders and of all this kind of stuff, and they still fight for it, man. Like especially like I'm staying with my parents at the moment, and whew, man, holy crap! I haven't seen the news for I don't even know how long, like probably decades, and it's just on 24/7 here.
Yep.
I
Yep.
have to
Same
shut
with
my
my
door,
parents.
and it's
Yep.
just all this fear, and what about this, and what about
Well,
that?
what's happening? What's happening in the news, Campbell? I don't know. Tell us. Probably no one knows.
It's just all the same crap. I mean, I don't know. They're talking about a WAR3. I don't even know
Oh
if I
yeah.
can say that. They're trying to push that in the Ukraine. Oh, and then there's all this stuff happening in Israel, and they're very pro Israel messages being put out. And again, because obviously there's been a big uproar and kickback about what's going on over there, and so now the propaganda machines pumped in. But it's the same old it's just the same old crap I
Look,
heard 20 years ago, right? Like
yeah, it's
everything's
it's
bad,
like
people are
turning.
killing each other, people are robbing. Oh my God, be scared. It's just yeah.
I mean, Campbell, it is a bit of a paradox. I mean, we've talked about this heaps. It's still a paradox because you can be completely aware and conscious of this level of information. You can completely, they'll introduce the Ukrainian war, and, almost immediately on your channel will come through images of the president, like, being naked, dancing on top of a piano. Like, straight away, you'll get the contradictory, like, this is actually the truth about this guy, or this is the truth about that guy, or yeah, this is, you'll get the real story, the alternative story straight away. So, like, there's no one we know that, well, mostly that is still plugged in to this presented reality. But, like, we're all still waiting for something to occur, because something has to occur that is out of our, um, like, it's frustrating because we sit here knowing all this information. And
Hmm.
yet the rest, and nothing happens, and we sit here knowing, and nothing happens, and we sit here watching all the clone stuff, and all the transgendered stuff, and all the celebrities, and all the perversion and immoral, the Satan, all this shit. Like, it goes on. We're all really conscious of it. We're already aware of it. It's being posted in the billions of content on the internet, like billions of posts and tweets and memes and pictures and videos, like all constantly nonstop. And yet we have to, and yet here we sit, Campbell, like it's going on, it's been exposed, and yet here we sit. So that's the frustration point,
Hmm.
because humanity's collective energetic may have got us this far, that we've exposed it to this far. But what happens after that is this always feels like we're always just sitting around waiting. That's how it always feels. Like, it doesn't feel like we can just go and fucking sort it out. And it's just like that's what I think is the hardest part of where we sit right now at this moment in time. Because, I could think of a million things that, we could be doing that'd be super excellent, like exploring out of realms, and like
Hmm.
actually, like, exploring inner realms, like actually like having our brain cells back online properly so that we're like working with it to its full extent. There is literally a myriad of things that could be like just so insanely awesome to experience. But yet, here we sit. Here we sit, Campbell. You know, we can have the
Yeah,
greatest outlook about this whole thing, but here we sit, and it's fucking infuriating and annoying.
yeah. I hear you, man. I get it. But I mean, again, that's the problem, isn't it? Like if everyone believed that, oh well, I can just get up and change reality, then it probably would change, right? Like we're learning this stuff, like, and the reason for the brain fog is so that we could be controlled, right? But that's starting to lift too. Like there's now everyone knows about, well, I don't know about everyone, but everyone I know knows about the water and the food and what's going on, and to get your own stuff, and now detoxing from,
Yeah.
the parasites we've been talking about, and all the. I mean, the thing is, you've got to, like, if we took everyone from the earth today and put them in an amazing world, what do you think would happen?
Sorry, Sherlock's on top of me.
Oh,
Hello.
hello, puppy.
Ah, Sherlock Holmes, get down.
Sherlock Holmes. Hello, boy.
Who had
Um,
a parasitic tick bite this week, by the way, everyone, and almost died. The
yes,
irony of what we've been talking about recently, but catastrophic, terrible. Took
dogastrophic,
nearly,
man.
yeah, dogastrophic.
Dogastrophic, catastrophic.
Bounce
That's
back.
There you
It's
go.
bounce back.
Cats, right? Cat.
Oh, look, see, this is why I go down these tangents, like get obsessed about cats in the history of the world, because why not? Because at this point, like just watching what's playing out in real time is extremely slow. It's extreme. It's like repeating year one over and over and
I
over
agree.
and over again.
But
Yeah.
I mean, that breeds creativity, doesn't it? Boredom. Like when you're like, well, how do I change this? And when we come up with ideas. But like I was saying before, I think we all need to, if we put everyone from the earth now in a new earth, like what would happen with everyone, the way that people think, like the majority, it'd just end up like this again, right? Because this is what they'd create. So like this whole new earth
Yeah, because
concept is
yeah.
all on different, we have to change ourselves, right? Back to the whole, we've got to dream a bigger dream, a better dream, and then it'll come into fruition. We're not, most people aren't ready now.
Because like we're still programmed by the guru mentality. It's still there. Like
Completely.
I mean, like online, like there's just if
There's
you've got a
gurus
channel,
everywhere. Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, you're one of those gurus.
Don't follow me. No,
Yeah, but like that's why we're all like, just like let's gather as a community. Like, don't worry about anything we're saying. Like, but it's true. Like we're constantly still in that mentality of guru worshipping, or someone knows more than us. But
it's a strange one, man. I battle that all the time. Like, should I, like, why am I speaking like, exactly right. Like, but I mean, I think, it depends what you're doing, right? Like you have these gurus out there that tell people what to think, and they're blah 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 blah. Where I just like to put stuff out and ask questions, and because I don't think I have all the answers. I don't think anyone has all the answers, right? If they did, they wouldn't be here.
well,
And
it's fine. I mean, everyone has different talents in different areas, and you'll go
exactly,
to the
that's what
skill
makes
set
it
that
so cool.
serves you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the ones online, they're just, they're good orators, they're good speakers, they're good at putting their thoughts into vocalizing their thoughts. So that's a skill set that people
Mm.
want to follow, So I mean that makes sense. But like if we were to start from scratch again, then that mentality would continue on, but it would be equalized by the reverence for all skill sets and not just the reverence for the podium. That's the difference in our culture. We
Mm.
have been programmed to have a reverence for anything or anyone that's on a podium
Yeah,
speaking at us,
yeah,
and
for sure.
way less reverence for all the other skills that are required across the board to live in a beautiful harmonized society, which there are infinite amount, and every single human is part of one of those skill sets that should be honored and revered, but it's not the way we've ever experienced ever.
Completely, man. If everyone was left to do their own thing, everyone's got their own talents. It would all work perfectly, right? It's just like how life works perfectly, right? Everyone's sort of integrated, and people come up and give you information or help you when you need it, and that's part of their reality too. But somehow it gets merged so that everyone gets what they need and want out of it, and that's definitely how it should be and how it would work if we weren't put through education and told that we have to get jobs and all this stuff, right? So, I mean, so many geniuses have been destroyed through school, right? And they don't get to create and
Yeah, it's a
put
clever
their
system.
expression out, you know.
Yeah.
So this
Yep.
is the thing. But I mean, it could all be, what we're waiting for could be frequency, right? Like we keep talking about is the frequency rising. We've got this
Yeah, the shift.
human
Yep.
frequency and all this kind of stuff. Have you seen this video? I'll show a video from our one of our faves, the fittest flat earther.
Yeah, I like this guy. He's great. He does a lot of work on showing the situation with celebrities
Yeah, he's
playing
right
each
here,
other.
right?
Like Sam Smith and Adele, the same person. And he did a
Yeah.
whole thing on Trump and Elvis being the same person.
Oh,
Yeah,
Princess Diana and Melania Trump.
yep. I mean, it's crazy. And he just does it, but he also looks at the birthmarks and mole placements of moles and freckles, and
I
it's
saw
fucking
one of them.
excellent.
Yeah, yeah. There's heaps of them. So come and check out, yeah, fittest flat earther. But
Yeah,
this
he's
one,
fun, man.
he is. He's cool. So let's check this out.
In the world is happening off the coast of Anna Maria Island near the coast of Florida. Not only is there sonoluminescence happening, but check this out. There are literally waves in the patterns of squares. This is a person right there, and I've never seen anything like this. It is quite bizarre, and I don't think I agree with what the mainstream is saying. Because the mainstream simply says that square waves, also known as cross seas, are caused by the meeting of two sets of ocean waves from different weather systems. Well, maybe I would believe that if there weren't also crazy square patterns in the clouds in that same area, and also the sonoluminescence going on at the same time. But when you take a closer look, you realize that simple sound frequency can change the patterns of water, even to patterns that seem to have 90-degree square angles. And certain frequencies just happen to look exactly like those clouds and waves. And when you see that certain frequencies can cause certain patterns, and certain frequencies look just like those water patterns at Anna Maria Island, and you also see that certain frequencies can generate light. So maybe what's going on at Anna Maria Island isn't what they're telling us. Maybe they're throwing some frequencies out into the atmosphere. Frequencies that are causing water to respond a certain way, frequencies that are causing clouds to respond a certain way, and maybe even frequencies to make people act in different ways, because frequencies can have psychological and emotional effects. So next time you hear about the sonoluminescence or square waves in your area, ask yourself, is what they're telling us really what's going on, or something else? And of course, this is all for entertainment purposes. I know that this is just caused by two wave patterns intersecting, entertainment only. What?
Yeah, I mean, from that perspective, like, I think everyone arguably right now, this last month that I know would be saying they've had a really shit month, that there's been a really tricky energetic going on. It's been full of tricky communication, friction and tension. I think a lot of people have had that experience, so it wouldn't surprise me. So I guess from that perspective, that's broad, Campbell. You would take it like into your sanctum, your temple. You could like be keeping the frequencies of your home at a certain level using, a music and using
Mm.
different things. So you could actually be very much monitoring how you're feeling these days, because I agree that they would be absolutely and have forever bomb this reality with frequencies that are not to our service.
Well, everything is frequency,
Yeah.
right? And it's interesting when he talks about waves, right?
Yeah.
Like sound waves and waves in the ocean. Like literally, it was two waves meeting, but not how we, again, we're taught waves are water, right? But waves are frequency.
Yeah.
But the other question is why would they be doing that? Like, I mean, I guess you could say, have they always done
Or
it?
aspect of it.
Oh, sorry, we just cut out a bit there. What did you say?
The mind control aspect of it, the shifting. I mean, they've done a massive play here, Campbell. Like, I mean, come on, they've put up all the towers, they've got Starlink into every friggin' home. They've got devices and smart technology. They've,
Yep.
those people who took that and put that in, and then it's all in the food, and it's been like a long play here to have us completely wired and fired biologically to these antennas that
Mm.
like can alter our thought patterns.
And it's still
I
not
mean, that
working for them, right?
well, that would be the last thing, wouldn't it? That they actually had controlled our thought patterns. If we're the ones that are breaking this whole thing down spontaneously and without much effort, just by putting our focus on not the holding up of their vision, but the collapsing of their vision, then controlling our thoughts would be the only thing you could stop that from happening.
Exactly. So the whole fact that they're doing this now shows that something's happening that they're trying to counteract.
Okay, and I don't think that they're trying to change our thoughts. I think they're trying to make our frequency agitated and irritated. I
Yeah,
think
or
like
hold it
because
down.
my thoughts are never going to fucking change. There's no way. There's nothing they could do. There's nothing I could eat or do. There's no way anyone is going to impact on my thoughts. There's no way. I'm cooked, man. I am way cooked on on those topics, right? There's no way. Zero. And that's the same of everyone I know. There's no way. Um, but they can create the tension and miscommunication and agitation and yucky feelings within me that could emphasize a very time consuming process in my own world to do with love, relationships, friendships, the people in my life, like work, all those things can be pretty fucked with if my
Yeah,
energies like
for sure. And
yeah,
ultimately what that's doing is moving
distracts you.
your attention, right?
It does. It does.
So it stops you from creating what you want and focusing on
100%.
all this other stuff that just makes you go in
100%.
circles again. Yeah.
When I'm in a situation where I'm fighting with my partner, for example, there's no way I want to sit down and say, work on our book. You know what I mean? Like it really
Exactly.
does take a lot of it takes all your creative energy out of the equation. And so that's a really excellent tactic they've got going on. So, yes, the whole celebrity collapse right now, it has to happen because we've all thought about it way too much.
Yeah.
And that same with them coming out as transgendered. Like we've all thought about it way too much. Literally, that's our gossip channel. That's our fucking Women's Weekly channel, the celebrity transgender issue, and the clone stuff. All that's going to come out because we've all been focusing on it. But I guess we could start to work with how healthy is your frequency band
Mm.
in relationship to how creative are you feeling? Like if you're in a state of creativity and whatever that looks like, because that could be across every skill set, if you're in a state of creativity, then your frequency energetic band is looking good. I would say it's a simple way of looking at it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, ultimately we're creating all the time, right? Like you're manifesting your destiny anyway,
Yes.
right? But it's that most people are focusing on the wrong thing, so they're
Okay, so
manifesting what they don't want. So it's keeping your temple clean, if you want to put it that way. It's but having control. The main thing I think that helps is understanding that outside is not you. That's something different. You don't have to take it in. You don't have to put your focus outside. You can put it inside and go
yeah.
the other way and actually change. Focus on changing the outside. Don't focus on what is. Like I said before, it's all potential because nothing is unless we focus on it. It's like the double slit experiment, right? It's you get a different result when people are watching it because they're putting their intention into it. Literally, it changes reality. This is a proof that we actually affect and we create the physical world through our thoughts. So if we can start like going, oh my God, they're doing that again, but not take it on board and not be like, why are they spraying the skies again? They're trying to kill us. You can look at it like, oh my gosh, they're still trying this stuff and it's still not working. Wow, what do I want to create? Just like this is the thing. Like everyone's like fake news, but social media and everything, it's all part of the propaganda machine. Apart from
Well,
Kelly, we're not. But most of the stuff that we get, and people have sort of shifted to like, well, if it's on YouTube, it's not the news kind of mentality.
yeah.
If it's on social media, it's not part of the propaganda. But it could be. And it's always going to be like that, or at least for the foreseeable future. It's up to us to, to not be attached to it so much.
Well, but it's also accumulative. So if you've got one person, dreaming or imagining, I mean, to me, it's about imagination, and it's so. I mean, honestly, Campbell, I find it even hard these days to get into a state of pure imagination, and like that's something I prize about myself. But it's getting, I don't know if it's the age or just the age we're in, but like it's definitely getting harder to step into your imagination, and then plus you've got all these AI like tools now that basically take over from your imagination. It's going to become harder and harder for people to organically access. And I think that would be part of this organized parasitic pyramid that we live in,
Hmm.
to remove people from their imagination, which is the most powerful point of creation, has to be. But I also think that it's accumulative. So, you one person, but you join with two people, then you join with three people, then you join with, and like that manifestation starts to get more and more and more accessible and physical and more real. And I think that's why, of course, we've had so much energy from this structure to separate any sort of, strong communities, buildings, that strong community energy, that building of that
Hmm.
connection. And I mean, even in the Tower of Babel, that sort of concept. It was just all about segregating and separating the languages.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
even if that was a fable or a myth or real, like that notion of separating humanity from each other has been a consistent
yeah.
tool. Yeah,
Creating
consistent.
division, because if you can't speak the same language, you can't share the same dream, right?
Yeah,
And I guess
exactly.
that's ultimately why we do what we do, right? Is we're just trying to get a better dream, right? Get a better
Yeah.
thought process out there and start to sort of kickstart something. Um, because ultimately I think
Yeah.
that's it. We're the creators, but we're always, well, not always, I think it's changing, but we're so programmed to this left brain structured thing that the only point of view that we can see is the one that we've had, right? And that's pretty much come from the system. So
Yeah.
that's what we need to break out. That's maybe why, I don't know, why imagination is getting harder, but maybe it's just so that we can notice it and we put more effort into it. Because I still ultimately think there's got to be some kind of a split. I don't think that everyone
Oh,
in
yeah, there has to
the world
be.
can be going to the same place because there's such a difference. Like some
Oh,
people
the same
probably will fight for
place.
the system still, right? Like there's
It's a bit
people,
creepy.
it's a bit weird. I mean, there's a whole NPC aspect. Is that true? I don't, but we can't prove that, right?
But it's creepy, Campbell, because like every time when we talk about this, like the word ascension, or the like, where we go, or the like the new earth, or the frequency shift, or it can appear to be quite creepy because like imagine if like the ascension process is literally your soul being carried to the underground cities, or like the ascension process being
Oh, it's
that you're like your ascension process is actually your descension into the understanding that we live on top of a massive, insanely developed, advanced civilization under the ground. Like what exactly, like this ascension thing, the idea that you'll just be like, all right, for example, I was telling you the other day that I was watching a show called Chaos on Netflix, which is a parody of the Greek gods ruling today, which then set my mind off on this slight split between the gods and all of that mythology, and then the Nephilim and all of that mythology, and if they're one and the same or if they're separate and different storylines. But in that one, that they were basically sending souls down to the underworld with Hades, and that they had built a mainframe, in the underworld, and souls were basically going through that frame, and they weren't recycling back onto Earth for an experience. Their energy was then loosed out of them and used that was the drink the gods drank for their immortality.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was just like watching it thinking, yeah, I mean that's concept of humanity's soul essence being loosed. And you saw it again in the Dark Crystal, where they extracted the energy from the Gelflings, and like that's just such a common fucking theme running through so many of our shows. That this notion of ascension or that there's going to be a shift in, like, it can be a bit creepy because of those concepts, right?
Mm. Yeah, what are we ascending from? Yeah, yeah.
And to, and
Mm.
from and to, and to me, like, this whole, like, obviously I watched the Mind Unveiled's excellent show that they released last week on
Was
underground
it that
cities.
on the Spy Kids? I haven't watched it. I saw it pop up.
Oh no, it was just like they
That
did it. And
one.
look, Unveiled's an interesting channel. I've got to say, like, the extent of the information and the the I just, yeah, they're an interesting one. I think that there's definitely something helping Mind Unveiled's work. It just feels so sophisticated,
Deeply
and
researched and yeah,
it's
right.
so
Mm.
sophisticated, and
Yeah.
they present such long
Yeah.
sophisticated narratives,
Beautiful,
like
man.
you and I, we can talk about long sophisticated theories, but like then to back it up with like all the different languages breakdowns, all the old books written in different languages, and then all this, like, it feels, yeah. Anyway, point is, like, I feel like Mind Unveiled is a part of a maybe a show that's to reveal things and is supported in ways to do that. Maybe. I mean, they were talking about concepts years ago.
Mm.
Years ago, they were presenting really detailed theories, which is like not even, common today. Like,
Mm.
not
And
for,
yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, like, there's so much talk about shills, and oh my God, everyone's a shill, and everyone, and I don't believe that everyone is, but I mean, ultimately, does it really matter? Like,
yeah. I
we
mean,
can
yeah,
keep
no, it
to
doesn't.
ourselves, you can watch stuff, and even if
Yeah.
they are controlled, there's still good information in there, right? So,
Oh, yeah, yeah, for
the
sure.
whole thing that I see a lot about, I just say, guys, just trust yourself.
And
Watch it anyway. If it's crap, turn it off. If you get something from it, awesome. But don't
And
be.
it's not like you have to be, if you're being supported, it's got to be in a negative way. Like,
Oh,
you could be connecting with things that are through your dreams, and they're intuitively sending there's a million ways that this information could come to you.
and that's the way
I'm
the
just
universe
saying,
works, right? It like stuff just that tends to work that way. If you're looking for an answer, it can come from anywhere.
it's just that their channel and their concepts are
Yeah,
extremely sophisticated. That's all I'm saying.
agree. Okay.
Beyond most channels, I think.
Yes.
Um,
Beyond our professionalism, that's for sure.
oh, absolutely. So basically their last show was on the underground civilizations that exist on this realm, and all the
Oh,
creatures that have come out of that underground and been reported within the underground, right down, I mean, bizarre stuff, right down to snake beings, giant snake beings, which is where you get all the mythology with the snake humans.
yeah.
There's human cat
Spiders,
beings, there's worm beings with like
people.
flattened, yep, there's like toad
Mm.
people. There's like basically all these humanoid slash animal reptiles, but basically there's a lot. Like all of the mythical characters and creatures that we've sort of see throughout history, the map on the maps, or through the Tartaria critters, right through the stories that we show in our movies and our fantastical creatures that you'd find in Star Wars, for example. They're all present in these underground civilizations, and Minor Vale has actually like documented it. Like these aren't just lofty concepts; these are like documented reports and drawings and etc. And yeah, I mean, it's basically a deeply advanced, highly civilized, completely interconnected, multicultural civilization that basically is under our feet and has been there forever. And the idea that we know nothing about it, in something like in 1449, somewhere there, they put a decree across the whole realm that you had to they had to seal off every entrance to the underground, to the underworld. They had to seal across the whole realm. They had to literally go and seal off every single entrance,
Wow.
right, to separate the terrain dwellers, the extraterrestrials, us,
Yeah.
from the inner terrestrials, right? And it's just like, and so, and these gates and caves and doorways and portals all around the realm from the 14th century, well, according to their time, from the 14th century today, has been something that they have systematically blocked off, and eradicated, and that the majority of, well, all religions, have come about as protectors of certain doorways. So
Wow.
it like Buddhism in Tibet, obviously, full of
Yeah, yeah.
doorways into
Yeah.
and the connection with the reptilians.
Yeah.
Then you've got like the Islamic religions, you've got the Hindu religions, you've got, I mean, Christianity, hello, like look what that's turned into as far as, like their Christianity is epic when it comes to creating structures and Vatican like places in and over
Mm.
huge. So yeah, so basically, that's, I mean, that's a reconciliation for humanity. If we think resting fucking stupid ass, enslaved, immoral celebrities, like, if we think arresting them is a big deal, like, imagine if we're talking about being actually exposed to the fact that under our feet, Campbell, is a full-on active, more active than our civilization. That's
Mm.
fucking huge. That's fucking huge.
Yeah,
That's
man.
like get fucked. That's
It's like the universe or the solar system or something, but beneath our feet, right? All these different worlds, but it's just there. And I mean, what are we thinking of? I mean, if everything's being sealed off, that would kind of make me think that what's down there is good, right? Or at least there's some good down there and something because they've blocked us off from it, right? And put us in this
well, good,
system.
good and bad, good and bad, bad and good, same as us, like good and bad.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of these creatures that feed off us, feed off meat, feed off flesh. Like I was looking at it, the eyes of the cat. I was going through my cat tangent. And just to summarize here, just because we haven't talked about it this show, the reason there's cats behind us is because I couldn't let go of the cat topic. And I'm just going to tell you right now in 5 minutes everything that I discovered about the cats. One, is that all right? Well, can I just blurt out the cat context?
Go for
In totally no context at all of what we're talking about, but here it is. It might make sense because cats and dogs. So the cat, the Bashit, and then and Anubis, the dog-headed, the two Egyptian god creatures, which we're pinning as part of the beginning of this whole control grid that we're in. They were prized and famed for leading souls to the underworld. Just that's interesting. Interesting side note that
it.
like cats and dogs were the one that would carry the souls down into the underworld. So I
Yeah.
was then looking at, well, are they a part of the underworld? Why did they have like right access to the underworld, so to speak? That's where you get like
Yeah.
the black cat and the black dog and
Yeah. And there's the three-headed hound
yeah,
of hell. But I
yeah.
mean, it's interesting because dogs, I'm just thinking, I mean, I'm pretty sure that they just appeared too, right? Just like cats,
Yeah, around the
you
Egyptian
know.
time.
And
Yep.
we just get this story of, oh well, people just somehow tamed wolves and they changed the way they look, right? They turn into hounds or something, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
No,
Because the only two creatures in the realm that that's ever happened to are dogs and cats.
I know. And they're so cute and fluffy now that we just love them in our house. Like they're the only animals, for the
Hmm.
most part, people put in their houses. Interestingly enough, the only animal not mentioned in the Bible is the cat.
Cat.
Now, that's weird. That's curious. Why is that? Why of all animals, when there was such reverence at the time of the Bible's creation around cats?
Hmm.
Why would the cat be omitted? Are they trying to hide something? And then why were cats and dogs maintained as gods? Because they were mummified and maintained as gods, like they were put in the realm of gods. That's why they were so worshipped. So in ancient Egypt, which is where the Bible sort of originated, no matter what anyone tells me,
Mhm.
um, so in ancient Egypt, these two creatures were believed to be the embodiment of gods that literally had the god's souls in them. They could
Yes.
carry the soul of the gods, which
Yes.
is why they became then known as beings that could carry souls of the dead down to the underground. So they became, for whatever reason, vessels that could maintain godly souls,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
weird.
I
Of
did a
all
bit
the
of
animals.
research, and through most cultures that I could find, yeah, cats are related to gods. They're in temples. The Siamese cats, they're from obviously Siam, Thailand, and they used to guard the Buddhist temples and were considered very sacred.
Yeah.
Like, in Islam, the cat is a quintessential pet.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I
I
would,
mean,
that cats ritually or basically they're held up like gods, right, and ritual
That,
creatures, but they're
yep.
that theme of them being able to carry souls or like other entities being able to inhabit them. I mean, that story seems to go across all of it as
Yep. It is. It's across every religion. And it's
well.
so weird because why would you choose to a cat, a little domestic fluffy cat versus a lion? Like, why would you not take the lion? Like, it makes so much more sense if you're going to revere a feline. Hello, but
Mm.
no, they created. It feels like they genetically created the domestic cat and dog in ancient Egypt to infiltrate our
Mm.
homes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, cats they often link to the lynx. Interesting language there, right? Link it to the lynx. Which I mean, I guess that's just the smallest cat that we have that's not domestic. But when you look at dogs, they say they all come from wolves.
Nah.
So Sherlock, sure, he looks like he's from wolf. But what, a dachshund or a bloody
Yeah,
hounds, right? Hounds have a completely different kind of makeup. They have different hair. Yeah, like, I can't see, some of the dogs, sure, but what were they crossbreeding it with to get these different breeds if there's only wolves?
yep,
And cats as
yep.
well, because lynxes, they have different ears, they have, they're bigger, they are a different animal. So again, what were they crossbreeding them with to make them smaller and less
Exactly.
feral, right?
It's
Mm.
significant. It's significant because like you gotta look at what's obvious. And what's obvious about ancient Egypt is the pyramids, the pharaohs, and the cat and the dog, like as gods. This is what's obvious about ancient Egypt, right? And that there was some connection to the tech from Atlantis to the days of and that the pharaohs were fucking not human. Like they're weird, gangly giant. So then we've got the pharaohs being giant and the Nephilim being giant. We've got the pharaohs being white skinned and pale and the Nephilim being white skinned and pale. We got the pharaohs with their strange headgear on, a mask in the shape of animals. We got the Nephilim, with their clown faces and their cannibalistic mouths.
Yeah.
You've got
Sorry,
you've
it's
got the
just had a
cone.
vision of that parade in, is it Sweden for Christmas, where they all dress up as like beasties
Yep.
and they'll put like these big headdresses on, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the Nephilim are clowns are a really excellent series. You guys should check that out. It's really good. But it basically proves the case through all of tribal history and mythology, and the demons, the gods are represented as clowns. And today clowns emulate the gods by still exaggerating their giganticness with their huge feet and their huge hands and their little hats and their little cars and these bloody mouths, which are the representation of cannibalism and blood. And their slits, the clowns will paint slits makeup, but the slits in the eyes are is the slit in the eyes, which weirdly enough, cats also have with the snake. Snakes and cats have the slit in the eyes, and the clowns also. So there is a link here, all right? So we've got these two creatures revered as gods. In ancient Egypt, they mummified cats. So I think we've talked about that on the show. They literally mummified cats. Well, what the fuck? Why would you do that? Like you literally. But then Tripoli in the 1800s, they sent hundreds of thousands of mummified cats back to the UK and America to be used as fertilizer.
Yeah,
And
man.
when they say that to me, Campbell, you know what I think about? I think about McDonald's and all the stories about the humans that end up as McDonald's hamburgers.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
cats, but what were they doing with it all? Like, I mean,
definitely not fertilizers.
it sounds a bit of a shit story, doesn't it, right?
Hello, there's no organic matter left in a mummified cat that's meant to be like fucking 4 or 5 thousand years old.
No.
What? What's
Mm.
left in there is probably a time capsule of parasites and maybe god beings if the cats carry the souls of gods.
So I wonder what, did you check out the time dates of when they went to England and when what's that stuff called?
Oh, the Real Society. No,
Bovril.
I didn't.
Bovril.
Above real. Oh, Campbell. Now that would be a
Bovril.
fucking fantastic link. Well, I know when it was reported, it was reported 1888.
That's
1888 was when they started sending mummified
that's
cats
pretty close to the
back
Bovril,
to
isn't it?
Yeah, so you guys remember we were talking about the Vril Society in the last show, and that from this Vril Society came an actual physical food product called Bovril, and that like be gave to every single soldier. It was on every shelf in the UK and America, like it was big, like Vegemite. Now that's an interesting thing. Were they putting the cat, the mummified cats, into the creation of the book? That wouldn't surprise me. That would make sense to me. And the other thing about the cat, which is really important to understand, is that the cat actually holds like the parasite that is the one parasite that 1 in 3 humans now have in their brains. And
Yeah.
that parasite can influence your sexual nature. It can influence your thoughts and thinking. It can influence the sort of partnerships you attract. It influences relationships. Like it's fucking big, right? And 1 in 3 of us have it, and it's only brought to the household via cats.
Toxoplasmosis, yeah, man. That's what got us on this whole journey, right? Is the cats carry this one parasite that's everywhere, and yeah, man, it can control your mind, your thoughts, your actions, all this. And what have we seen in the last couple of years, right? Like people who don't seem to be able to control their thoughts and their
That's
actions,
right.
and the whole sex thing, this whole bloody everyone's doing OnlyFans and all this kind of weirdness that's coming up. It's crazy.
Yep. It's crazy. And then you've got to link, obviously, the whole weird phenomenon that kids are wanting to like be cats and dogs. So like this whole thing about putting kids into classrooms, and literally that's a thing and that's happening. So
Yeah,
that's a really weird chain of circumstances around the cat.
it is. Yeah, yeah. And I think you made the link a few videos back that a lot of the children that are claiming to be cats or dogs, their parents are supporting them. Like,
Oh,
and like literally to the point where they're going up and trying to sue schools and all this kind
yeah.
of stuff.
And
So,
vets, sue the
so
vet.
yeah, and would it not make sense that a mother and child would be have the same parasites, right? Is that what we're saying here? That it's a
Yeah.
parasitic mind?
So all right, let me cross the theory then. What if if you blend the toxoplasma, is it toxoplasma? Is that toxoplasmosis?
Toxoplasmosis.
Toxoplasmosis with the What if you blend those two together, and like the toxoplasmosis is actually initiated, or it's the link, that parasite's the link to the or what was ever what that nano
No, yeah,
tech
technology,
that was,
nanobots, yeah.
like that's a long plan. Give 1 in 3 humans this parasite, and then we can, from there, with this, we can manipulate what they think, who they are. That would make total sense to me. And also those numbers feel right. The one in the third of the population. I
Mm.
don't think it's half of the population. I think it's probably a third.
Well, this is the other thing. Like they control the media. So all this stuff that we get about, no, most people aren't awake, look, they're all great. Like that's just propaganda through the
Yeah.
media. I think there's so many more people awake than what they're trying to let
Yeah.
us know, right?
Fuck yeah.
But it's the same story. That's what they always do. Like, don't, fake news, man.
All right. So just on this note, and we should have put this right at the beginning of the podcast. So I will ask you to cut this out and put it at the beginning as well, not to cut it out, but just to repeat it. On that note of parasites affecting the brain, and the need for an idea to get more powerful if it's in the space of community, Campbell and I are launching and hosting an 8-day water fast off the back of our fast, to give you guys a chance to fast in a way that's supportive and you're not doing it by yourself. So it's happening in October. The link is underneath here. Just click through. There's no cost. It's by donation. Just pay whatever you feel it's worth. Campbell and I are committing to turning up in the morning and in the evening for 8 days, where we will have a Zoom podcast with anyone who wants to come on. And if you've got any fears or stresses or worries or something weird's happening, or you're losing your motivation or whatever it is, we'll be there as a community to be like, we can do this, team. Day 1 is done. Everyone go to sleep quickly, and it'll be day 2.
Exactly. I'm
Just
definitely
sleep,
doing that, man. Go
sleep
to
your
sleep
whole way.
early. Yeah,
you,
man.
go to bed if you're feeling like you're giving up, and go to bed and sleep, and it'll be day 3. But we'll be there to hold your hand and to get you through it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and thanks to everyone who's already gone and signed up.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few there, and we haven't even really promoted it. So that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely it would be a hard go, I think, doing it by yourself. Especially if you're in a in the burbs or something like that where you've got other
Yep.
people in your space. So
Yep.
if you want to do it, then this will we believe will be a big help. Every morning, every evening, get motivation, get to talk to other people. You can have a bitch about how it sucks. Um, but just that support will help immensely, I think, to get people through. And what are we doing?
100%.
8 days that we're going to
Eight
go
days.
for? Yeah. So
Yeah,
that
yeah, because then you can say you did a week, you did over more than a week. And I think it takes to day three to calm your system down into the process and find your momentum. I think it takes to day five to bring up any issues that are gonna happen. So by day eight, you should, and of course, you don't have to end there. If you've got the momentum and you're going, and we
days, man.
and if the community has momentum past 8 days, then Campbell and I will continue with you. We will go to the end with you guys because, like, to us as a community, like, freeing you of parasitic influences is fucking excellent. And I think it's like what we need to do moving forward as a group, as a gang, as a little gang. We're going to be fucking toxoplasmosis free. We're going to be cat and dog influences free. We're going to be free of this, like, whatever's causing anything within our systems, but mainly you're going to get to have the experience, which means your knowledge turns into wisdom and your wisdom becomes your sovereignty, and from that point you have a new superpower.
Definitely. And the health benefits, right? Anything that's in you and shouldn't be there. Well, you with 8 days, you'll get rid of most of it. You'll be in ketosis for what 5, 6 days or something, and that's where your body goes through and it eats up all the crap that shouldn't be there. So, it's health benefits too, right? Like we did 19 days, so we're cancer free, man. We can't get any of this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, it's really powerful for everyone to have an experience with water fasting and have an experience with parasite cleansing. So, if you guys are interested in doing that, like, just remember if you're umming and ahhing and hesitating, that you literally get to eat food every single day of your life, as much as you like, as many times as you like. You literally get to do that for the rest of your life till you die. You being supported to not eat food and drink water and give your body a break, that is extremely rare comparatively to how much you can eat.
Yeah, man.
So if you are umming and ahhing about it, just think, can I sacrifice a week of my habits around food to try something completely unknown to my system? The reason it's called a water fast is because once you embody something like a fast, your whole reality speeds up. You literally go through a quickening yourself on all levels because you've done something completely spontaneous and unknown and unpredictable and broken a few habits there that your system's never done before. All of that generates a really good positive shift in reality. So
It does, man. I mean, look at us. We were doing it back on the farm, and now what? A month later or something, I'm in Perth.
yeah.
You're in Malaya,
Ah, it's
Queensland.
fucking
Like,
insane.
everything's changed. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But also, like, I was pretty, I was a bit worried going into the fast, and I was thinking, oh my God, I'll try and get to 5 days. If I can do five, I'll be happy. And I did 19, guys. It was so much easier than I thought. It really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And that was, because we created the space, we had, each other to support each other. And so, yeah, if you're worried about it, just go for it. Like, to me, like I said, it was so much easier. I was quite worried, and I did 2 weeks without even really thinking about it.
Yeah.
So it's not a big
Yeah.
bad thing. It's just a
No.
different experience, and it'll clean your head out. It'll push your manifestation and changing your life forward, and it'll
Yeah.
clean you out, right, and get rid of any dis-ease that's in your body.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're feeling stuck in your reality for any other reason, which I think we all secretly are, and I think it's inevitable right now, this is sticky time, then this is a great thing to do. It'll unstick you a little bit. So look, Cam and I are running this in October. The information's below. Go onto the website. You can just register, and you can just sign up and register and then get scared, or just like come on the first day and just like, you know, find the courage. You can like go for as long as you like or pull out whenever you like. Like there's no restrictions here. This is a self-motivated process that you'll be in. It's just that we're going to stand there with the community and fucking get you through to the longest possible thing. I don't think this I don't know, community water fastings. I don't know if that's been done on via a YouTube Truth community channel before, but here we are. And if it works, we'll keep doing it because Camp and I are going to keep doing them, and we're going to keep parasite cleansing. And you know, I just think this is just a good tool in our stay in a good Zen vibe energy for.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our info commercial
this time because we've just done a huge one, but next time we hold this, we'll be fasting with you.
Yeah, I mean, I might decide to do it. I'm not sure. I mean, we obviously Cam and I have just completed one, so
might do a few days.
yeah, I mean, like I just think they're good things, and yeah. Anyway, whatever happens, we'll be turning up to guide everyone
Maybe I
through it.
will
So,
do it. I think I lost weight, and now I think I put it back on. So maybe I'll do it.
So yeah, so look, we would love to see 1,000 people on that water fast, but if we get like 100 people, that's fantastic. The more there are, the more momentum you guys are going to feel, the more energy you will build around it. You know, most likely everyone will go a bit longer than the 8 days. All right, so that's the info commercial. So we're really looking forward to connecting with you guys on that topic. So back to cats, Campbell, because I wasn't finished there. I just got sidetracked. I wanted to read a few things. All right. So let me just share the screen because
I need to run to the toilet quickly.
So okay, you run to the toilet.
I'll be back.
All right. Let's see how quickly he can wee. He's good at it after the water fast. He's a weeing machine, man. All right. So I just put into cats are from underground civilizations, random, right? And this is what it came up with. Just so many things that it came up with. First of all, why are cats not mentioned in the Bible? I mean, that's a really interesting. What are they hiding? Did cats create the Bible? You know what I mean? Like, why are they omitted from the Bible? So in Islamic law, all right, unlike many other animals such as dogs, Islamic law considers cats ritually pure and that cats possess blessings and allow cats to freely enter homes and even mosques. Cats are believed to be the most common pet in Muslim countries. That's interesting, don't you think? That these little vehicles and vessels, they're also cute and cuddly now, are allowed to go into our most sacred places. Why is this? Are cats God creatures? Cats were not worshipped as gods themselves, but as vessels that the gods chose to inhabit and whose likeness gods chose to adopt. What is that? I just think that's so interesting, as vessels, but as vessels that the gods choose to inhabit. I just keep that in mind. In Chinese mythology, the gods initially put cats in charge of the world. Campbell has to hear this. After that, they created it. And Li Shou was the leader of the cats. What? Did you guys even know this? Like, why would cats be considered to be in charge of the fucking world? Like, this is bizarre. The gods gave cats the ability to talk so they could better rule the other creatures. Campbell, glad you're back. You're missing some very important information here.
Okay.
All right, so I have to repeat it. Sorry, everyone, but this is good for everyone to hear. So in Islamic law, cats are considered ritually pure and that cats possess blessings, which means that cats are the only animals that are allowed to freely access the homes and the mosques, all their sacred places. So bear in mind, cats have been given the right of passage to go everywhere, but no other animal. All right, so get this. Cats were not worshipped as gods themselves, but as vessels that the gods chose to inhabit and whose likeness gods chose to adopt. What?
Interesting.
Vessels. All right, this is a good one, though. This is Chinese. In Chinese mythology, the gods initially put cats in charge of the world after they created it. And Li Shou was the leader of the cat. The gods gave cats the ability to talk so that they could better rule the other creatures. But the cats had other ideas they lazed about and said whatever. But the cats were initially put in charge of the world.
Interesting.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, man.
We've just never thought of cats in this fucking way, right? I just went through and looked at all the different. All right, so in Egypt, you would put to death if you killed a cat.
Whoa.
What?
Even if it was an accident. Wow.
You were put to death. Why?
You can't kill a vessel of the gods, man.
Cats are the guardians of the underworld.
Underworld.
They say in Hinduism, all life this means a cat is still what someone have said. No, 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 no. Why it's sin to kill a cat because so it was a sin to kill a cat, but not for. We'll have a look at that one more. All right, so the cat isn't mentioned in the Bible. Just keep that in mind. It's just fucking weird.
It is a bit weird. Um,
Oh yeah, so Prophet Muhammad from the Muslim religion was extremely fond of cats. He regarded the felines as the highest form of animal. Interesting.
Very,
Now here's yep.
I was going to say, have you still got that page up on the people that were?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm getting to that. Japanese myths. Depending on the story, cats that were brutally killed by humans would become cat ghosts, I'm assuming, and curse the human.
Wow.
And then like this was in okay, what's this one? Zeus' wife, her magic servant into a black cat as punishment over some godly drama.
So again, it was a god being put into a cat's body. That's what that just said.
Now, okay, so what then became very interesting and strange, and if I've got it here, which most people won't know, is this here. So Julian Caesar. Here. All right, check this out, everyone. I mean, this is just another friggin' weird thing.
Yeah, cat phobia.
Ruthless conquerors, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Napoleon, and Hitler, and even Genghis Khan has said to be scared to death of cats. Phobias sometimes seem far-fetched, even comical. It's called, can you pronounce that?
Europhobia. Europhobia, is that it?
A pathological fear of cats. What? Why? Why would they have a pathological fear of cats? Like, what are you talking about? So all of these big, crazy, tyrannical world leaders, potentially human leaders, had a terrifying energy, pathological, terrifying fear of cats.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is that? Because the cats had gods in them?
This is the thing. Like, were these people going against the system? Because obviously, with the H man from Germany, there's a lot of conjecture of what he was doing. Napoleon, what he did led to the beheadings, even though that got subverted. So yeah, I mean that's an interesting little side tangent. Were they going against the gods, and that's why they were scared of them because
Yes.
they're cats, right?
I mean, have you guys ever heard of a fear of cats? Like that's not a known phobia today.
Maybe a lion or a tiger, but not a domestic cat. And I just had a thought too: isn't it interesting that a domestic cat it doesn't roar, it meows and it hisses, and the same with the
Hisses.
dog. Like what we're told of the wild dogs, like wolves and things, they howl, they don't bark. So that's another interesting point, right?
It's very interesting point. Very interesting. I mean, look, there's another reference here. So Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, Napoleon, Mussolini, and Hitler, all afraid of cats, terrified of cats.
That's crazy.
So, I don't know, guys. Like, I mean, I'm on a cat tangent right now because every time I go into it even further, something even trippier comes up. I just thought this quote was interesting. I've lived with several Zen masters. All of them are cats. I hate Eckhart Tolle. I'm not into. I think he's fucking bullshit. But
yeah, I agree, man.
He's fucking no good.
He's
And
wise,
like,
man. He's like that. He's like that evil German dude from Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know the way he
yeah,
talks.
he's like Bashar. He's just basically he's the same ilk as the Dalai Lama, Oprah Winfrey. It's just all the same shit to me.
Well,
Phil
actually, he
Swan.
was really good friends, wasn't he, with Oprah
Yep.
Winfrey? He was
Deepak Chopra.
he helped promote him up and get him
It's
big.
all
And
the personal development movement. Yep.
yeah, personally.
Okay, I just thought that was an interesting quote, but this whole video here, this was all talking about cats as vampires. Now, which is really interesting because I personally haven't ever made that conclusion. I've never drawn that connection to cats being vampires. I
No.
just simply, you think of bats and vampires. I don't think of cats and vampires. You think of werewolves and dogs, but cats and anyway, this goes on in such a fascinating story around the vampire cats and how like they've gone on. Basically, it's replicating what we've just talked about the dead and the souls and how cats would, where all the superstition would come from with cats and how the cats would like cross over people's graves and take the soul, or that like they could cross over a grave and reanimate the soul and turn them into zombies, or that you wouldn't want to die if there was a cat in the room because it would take your soul. Like, and when we talk about all this soul loose drawing, the soul stealing, the fake recycling of the human soul, like all of that's a bit scary in relationship to this context of cats.
It links into a lot of the stuff, doesn't it? The carriers of people to the underworld, and all this walking across graves, and it's very like they're vessels, right, for
Yeah.
other souls or entities. Yeah, I've never heard of cats as vampires, but I mean, cats and bats, it's pretty close, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, I'd love to. I mean, it's 6 minutes long to be played, or is that too crazy?
Yeah, well,
I think it's
let's play it, and then we can finish up.
yeah. I think it's worth look. And by the way, everyone, just so you know, just so you fucking know, Campbell and I don't hate cats. We're advocating for some massive mutiny against cats, or to like look at your cat suspiciously and start to not love it as much. I mean, I've had a cat for 20 years. I'm down with cat. Like all I'm saying,
called Pollyanna for like 22 years.
Yeah. There's a lot of information about how cats protect you in on all of the, and there's a flip side to this, but I'm just thinking in regards to what we're talking about, it's fucking trippy that cats play such a dominant role and they're revered as vessels that carry gods, and that the Bible has admitted, and all these people, these world leaders that were like most terrifying world leaders that changed the course of our history, like we're terrified of them. There's all very and the toxoplasmic,
and we don't know, right? We're just doing research. It could be that that's just what they are, right? They can carry, they can be vessels for other souls, but it doesn't mean they're all bad. They could be manipulated like we have been. Who knows? We don't know.
We don't know. But they do carry the one parasite that actually influences the human brain more than anything. That's the fucking truth. And kids want to be cats and dogs these days, which is fucking weird. So all of that stuff is happening, and that's why we're here. But don't hate and reject your pussycat because of this. Like,
we're not anti-cat. We like cats.
Yeah. We love cats. All right, let's just watch this for a little bit, just for fun, just to see how like we feel about cats and vampires. If it gets boring, I'll turn it off. Should I put it on to double speed? Do we want it on quick speed?
Yeah, let's do that.
I'll speed it up.
Stop us getting banned.
Because we can handle that shit.
We can do it.
I'll go down to 175. All right, you ready, team? Let's go.
To mind Dracula and Rice.
Wait, stop.
When you think of vampires, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Dracula and Rice, the characters from Twilight?
All right, is that too quick for you?
Maybe Count from Sesame Street. So often these nocturnal blood-sucking ghouls are shapeshifters, commonly taking the form of cat. However, vampires have also been linked to another animal, one you may have in your home right now, curled up on your very lap. The thing is, throughout history, cats have also been cast as the main character in many vampire tales and legends. Maybe that's part of the reason people thought they were the devil incarnate. But why are our furry feline friends associated with bloodthirsty immortal beings? Well, there's a lot, and it's all very, very cool. But to start things off on a positive note, Egyptian lore revered cats and portrayed them as guardians of the underworld. They would often bury their dead with them in some form. The tie-in with potential godlike immortality, death, and the underworld might explain how cats became entwined with vampirism for some, flashing forward to an English belief that cats steal the breath from newborns. This belief was further perpetuated after a cat was actually accused and ultimately convicted of infanticide in 1791. While this baby's death most likely happened as a result of the cat seeking milk from the child's mouth, it only adds to the mythology linking cats to vampires and death. There are some pretty interesting legends that give cats the power to turn a corpse into a vampire. But how is such a feat accomplished? Well, these vampire-inducing cats appear back in Greek folktales, where it's said that they have the ability to turn corpses into vampires by leaping over unburied bodies and by crossing fresh graves. Interestingly enough, this carried through even into the Victorian era, where fires were not to be lit when showing the departed loved one's body in the home prior to burial. The thought being a warm hearth would attract the house cat, who could then leap over the body/coffin and turn the dead into a vampire or steal their soul. These perceptions persisted into Scottish folklore, where in order to keep roaming cats at bay, they placed catnip out away from the burial sites. I mean, that's one way of distracting cats. Because of these tales, fires near corpses were forbidden in order to deter such a cat from snuggling near the warmth and presumably stealing the soul of the dead. Other European folklore depicts cats as fairies that steal souls.
Fairies.
For example, the Scottish catshee, which is a hybrid of Gaelic words for cats and fairies, supposedly roamed the Highlands looking for souls to claim, as you do. Another interpretation says the catshee was a witch who had the ability to transform from human to cat form a total of 9 times, which sounds super familiar. Many hypothesize that this tale forms the origin of the superstition that cats have 9 lives. Meanwhile, Romanian lore proposed that when a cat, particularly a black cat, crossed paths with a pregnant woman, vampirism could result. This chance encounter—
I mean, come on, this is weird.
It is
right?
Right. I mean, and the 9 lives is an interesting point. Why do we say they have 9 lives when they say it's a witch thing? But is that because they can carry 9 lives? Who knows?
would lead the unborn child to becoming a vampire. So it appears that many people over the centuries had believed that cats were vampire makers. But in pop culture today, it's safe to say that the vampire is assumed to transfigure into a bat when they need to get some air or travel. However, there is a bit of lore that actually centers on vampires turning into cats, and I'm here for it. This belief in the shape-shifting ability of vampires is literally the stuff of numerous legends. Most variations describe a black cat assuming the shape of a beautiful female to lure her paramour, with the intent to drink his blood. For example, Japan's vampire cat of Nambashima depicts how a mischievous cat attacked the princess paramour, a rare beauty, and basically took over her position. The unknowing prince was then
took over her position. They literally took over her position.
A cat.
bewitched and eventually fell gravely ill as a result.
A cat woman.
Brave samurai vowed to forego sleep and stand guard over the prince. This incredible loyalty thwarted the attempts of the mischievous—
Look at those eyes.
The black cats are cool, man.
Whoa, what just happened then? Am I off this? What just happened? Hang on a minute. Sorry, I just did something weird.
Cookies.
What did I just do then? Oh, I was enjoying that. See, it's fascinating shit, isn't it? Oh, I just turned Safari on accidentally. Don't know why I did that. Bear with me. All right. Oh, hang on. I've got a screen share again. All right, everyone. All right. Here we go. Everyone's so excited now. You see?
mischievous cat to claim the prince's soul. Naturally, of course, her ill intentions were uncovered and she was banished to the mountains. Across England, accused witches were also blamed for turning into cat form at night to seek out infants in order to drink their blood. Cats were frequently the companions of witches, their familiars, and many assumed they drank blood from the bodies of their owners via witches' tits, which were really likely just any interesting birthmarks or scars. But of course, the bodies of the suspected witches were examined for wounds that could corroborate the accusations. These assumptions only further solidified the idea that cats had vampiric tendencies as they needed to feed on blood to be sustained and in service to their witch. Now, as far-fetched as a lot of this all sounds, here's the thing. There are real-life connections between vampires and cats, and this connection is thanks to the work of ecologist Holly Gans. Her fieldwork focuses and follows black-footed cats in South Africa. She says, these small cats are quite fierce and have lovely fangs and bright green eyes that shine yellow in the spotlights. Like vampires, they are predators who drink blood and go underground during the day. Her observations note that this population not only drinks blood, but also has a nocturnal lifestyle. They get very cranky in the sun. Two very on-point and unique characteristics that only further feed into the cat vampire myth. And this kind of goes beyond the obvious. Well, all cats, especially big cats like lions and tigers, etc., are carnivores, so of course they eat flesh and blood. It doesn't mean they're vampires. Take because these cats look like smaller common domestic cats, and they drink blood, which is rather more what the vampire cat lore seems like it's referring to. Another study, published in Applied Animal Behavior Science, examined cats in Latin America and focused on the use of cats to ward off bats from preying upon livestock. So, bats versus cats? Vampire battle extraordinaire? These predatory vampire bats were effectively,
So basically cats will override the bat and also the snake, just so you know.
Oh yeah, they do beat snake.
Yep. They are one of the, they are apex predator. They're the apex predator.
That they totally they're at the top, man.
dissuaded from attacking the poor livestock by the presence and menace of nearby cats. Ferocious. So what does all this mythology tell us? Well, while cats are both loved and, in my opinion, perfect and unfairly slandered, you never know if they'll grant you a very long undeath by turning you into a vampire too, which could be your thing, I don't know. But thank you, friends and beans, for tuning in to—
All right, look, that's fucking interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, man, like there's all these weird connections, right? How do they drink blood? Like that's weird.
And isn't it weird that like our mythology on cats is pretty unknown? Like we don't see cats come up in much truth-seeking channels. Like cats are never featured as anything actually, and like all different realms have mythology around cats, and they're all the same mythology about vampires and death and souls and underground and all this stuff. But like we as a culture don't really talk about any cat mythology. It's just like it's been omitted. It's been like protected. It's been like erased over. Like of all the things, have you ever watched a truth channel like deep dive on the cat?
No, no, no. I mean, all we get is, witches have black cats.
Yeah.
That's what are they not supposed to do? Walk under ladders or something? And black cats, don't let them cross your path.
Because we love the cat, because the cat's in our home, because we've got the domestic cat and the domestic dog. Both of them disappeared out of ancient Egypt, both of them associated with dead. And then like there they are, they're in our homes. So anyway, that's all. That's all I just like to offer.
Yeah, yeah. So if you've got any more information on cats, guys, and what they are and their weird ways, then leave us a comment. Yeah, so there you go. I think we're done, are we?
Ah, yes, I could ramble on, but I do have to go to work. It's true. Yes. So, all right. So, I mean, I know we started on celebrities, and it appears to have no influence or connection to cats.
Well, who was the dude?
But who knows?
The dude who broke most of this stuff, Cat Williams.
Oh, get fucked. He's right. He's right. It's true. That's hilarious. All right. You're quite right. Yeah. Look, I mean, and you know what? They do wear cat feline outfits as celebrities a lot. The cat in the whole feline mind control fucking is big
as well. All that, kind of side of it. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And like cats and dogs do feature highly in outfits in the S&M and more perverted sex scene.
Yeah, it'd be 90% more cats and dogs, right?
Yeah. And I think that whole like, like the gimp look, that whole like black, like everyone's, that's very Anubis style. Yeah.
Well, I guess when you put it next to Catwoman from Batman, I think I'm thinking of Michelle Pfeiffer's.
Yep.
Looks very gimpish, doesn't it?
Yeah, gimpish and latexy. That's all very, and it's interesting that cats and dogs are quite black. And actually, I looked at some etymological people trying to convince me that cats have evolved naturally. But when you look at the cats that were likened to them, which weren't cats back then, but some other division of it, gosh, they look like snakes.
Like snakes.
They just had the same snaky, like the cat head was morphed way more like a snake, and the color of their fur was way more like scales, and the shape of their neck was longer, and their tail was like twice the size. So it was like they look like elongated snakes, like they'd been crossed with snakes. That's what it looked like, that they'd been crossed with a snake, which is what I think cats may have happened. And I think like, could cats be the Trojan horse?
Yeah.
Could cats be the Trojan control grid?
Stuff. Yeah, I know, right? We have that story.
Is cats the organic control grid? We don't know, but like, damn, they're everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. They could be some kind of, mythical protector creature, but they've just been subverted and used against us, right? Like everything else in this realm. Or they could be Satan himself. We don't know.
Imagine if a human that relates to being a cat actually rose to become the president. Imagine that. I mean, it's not hard to imagine, is it?
One furry.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I mean, it's not hard to imagine at all.
Not in this world. Geez, another 4 years and that could be a reality. Like, look at the way we're going. It's crazy.
Yep. All right. Well, look, that's just an interesting thing. When I was taught about how to use my psychic abilities, what I was taught to do was look at what's obvious to me. What's obvious? And one of those things that's most obvious is that cats and dogs are a major feature in our reality. They're protected, and particularly cats basically are everywhere and allowed to be everywhere. I bet you there's cats in the Vatican Library.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, yeah, even wizards and stuff, like all the scenes where you see like a wizard in his library type thing, there's always a cat.
Yeah, always a cat. There's always a cat.
The evil villains have their little cats.
Their cats. Overseeing. Cats always being overseeing what's going on at the highest levels.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
think we should talk more about it, although you may be sick of like going on the cat tangent, but
Yes.
I just find it very interesting.
Yeah, man. Well, there's nothing else out there about cats, so let us know. Should we do another one? Should we go down? We can have a look at these prehistoric snake cat things and other bits, or leave us comments if there's any other tidbits we should look into.
Yep.
And maybe
Yep.
we'll do a part. Oh gosh, what's that going to be? 3 or 4? I don't know.
Yep.
It's a catastrophe, I tell you.
All right, guys. So fantastic. We look forward to welcoming you on our community water fast. Go and check it out. I haven't put much information up there, just enough to get you registered, and we'll be starting that very couple of weeks from now. So woohoo.
Join up.
Yeah.
Give everybody a reset. And we will be back next this coming Friday in a week. We are sorry. We haven't even mentioned it. We didn't get here last week, but we had a few issues. Kelly was moving. Sherlock Holmes got bitten by a tick and almost died. And I was clearly busy for some reason. But yes, that's why we weren't here. But we will be next Friday and every Friday from there. They're going to the stadium event.
Every time we say we'll always do it, it's like never say never.
And if you do join, oh, gee, there's the pink blue house. There's
Sherlock. He's alive.
Sherlock. Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Oh, mate. I want to talk to him because
I love you.
Because then he goes looking for me. Oh boy.
Yeah, this is the new view. Pretty good.
Oh, you're at the back. Nice.
I'm at the back in the outside office.
Big pond.
So very different. But lovely, lovely.
It's a very different outlook, man. Like
it's very different outlook. I've got to take you for a little walk. So I mean, we've got farmland opposite us, which is just excellent. I mean, it's a super lovely location. It's very amazing.
It's such a good location. What is it? 4 minutes out of town, but it's literally it's way out in the country. Yeah, it's pretty rad. Pretty happy with it. It's a nice shift. It is from the bush. Yeah, man. From the dry, and it's very vibrant. Dry, desolate bush. Yeah, man. Yeah, but it's very vibrant. They've painted it very vibrantly, which is fine, which is good. Oh, hello. Totally different energy. Say hi. Hey, buddy. Hi. Oh, he's like, you went for a walk. Woohoo, don't you forget about me. All right, anyway, this is why we don't talk about dogs and cats, because we love them so much. We can't even imagine this being part of a diabolical plan. No, but we are here to ask questions, so let us know, but don't yell at us for being animals, because we're not. We're not. We love them. We're big animal lovers. Yeah. All right. Well, we love you guys, and we'll see you soon. All right. See you next week. On Tartaria, Australia. Stay awesome. Links below. Fasting. Bye.